I came back, going back to Iran via London, and then the next day I was arrested. I was picked up at home. 16 men just stormed the house, and I was charged under Section 508, cooperation with the hostile states of America, which was really shocking. And it was just like, America and then hostile states. That was something that I wasn't really expecting. A week before that, Iranian tanker was stopped by the British in Gibraltar, and then following that, a few weeks later, I think, it was the British ship was stopped at the Persian Gulf by the Iranian Revolutionary Guard. And then the next thing I remember is I was arrested. So I was caught in the middle. And during the interrogation, I found out that some of the questions actually is about the vessel and then the oil tanker, although it had nothing to do with me. I specifically remember one day my chief interrogator just came in, and then so happy, so you could see the smile and the grin in his face, saying, "Well, thank you very much, Kameel, for the service that you just gave us, and then the help that you as a British person gave the Islamic Republic of Iran." And I was just, he was very condescendingly just putting it as a joke, and I said, "So what would you mean by this?" He said, "Well, we just got our ship back, and thank you, so you really made a difference." And then at that moment I really got it. I think there was a point. There was a point to see myself as a dual national. Just again, old, rusty story of dual nationals being pictured and framed into a whole bigger game which they had nothing to do with it. Interrogators know you by character. They have studied you before, so they know your weaknesses and strength points, and when they needed to exert a little bit of extra pressure, they will press exactly on that button they already know about, and that can be private, personal, professional, in many different ways, and is very vicious. You're blindfolded at all time, even in the first or second week of your interrogation, and then finally they will ease it down a little bit. Then you just basically pushed into a room, and then you hear it like the guards are closing or locking the door, and then someone would just tell you behind the door so you can lift your blindfold. So when you lift it up, I saw a small room. It was almost like a grave, and you can't walk on it. You can't do anything apart from either sitting down or standing up or lying. And there is this very strong projectors on top of you, had 24 hours a day, so it's extremely bright, and really you can't sleep during the night. There is a small window type in your door designed for just for food. It opens up. There is a hand of a human being. It just comes in with your food and perhaps a tea or a glass of water, and then that's the only connection that you have to the outside world. So the only lifeline, the only entertainment that you have is when you are actually taken out for interrogation, and it's just so pity because you just wish to be interrogated more and more, so because that's the only human contacts that you have. You don't want to go to your cell because you're terrified, and there's all this phobia. Don't want to go back over there, and it comes to a point that you start shouting, your heart is begin to pound, and then there's so much of like phobia of this little place that you feel this, there is no oxygen, there is no air to breathe. And it's not one day, there is not 2 days, it's not 1 week, it's not 1 month, and it just goes on and on and on. And you just becoming mentally disabled, insensitive to your environment. And even when they take you for your half an hour fresh air, you're still blindfolded, so you don't see anything. You hear certain things. The wind is flowing, bird is singing, and then you don't see any other human beings. No human contact. That's what the solitary confinement is. I went to court. I come to this understanding that the judge had no power over the security services. And a few weeks later, I received 9 years and 3 months. With a simple calculation, I just realized my son would be near to 15 years old. What was I in these 10 years? In Evin, he would have just been a boy coming to see me for half an hour every 2 weeks, or on the phone with no emotional connection whatsoever. Taking all this into account, I come to this decision that I would really need to go, even though it would be very dangerous for me to act on it, and if I fail, it would be even worse. But then I made a decision, and I escaped. But I didn't escape to somewhere that I didn't know. I came back to the place that I also have a sense of belonging to. My big parts of my identity, it's here. I was brought up here. My intellectual upbringing, studying in this beautiful multicultural society. So I'm coming back home to my other home, but I was forced out of a place that I felt that I can make a difference. And I feel that what I have done over there was for the good of humanity. I believe there is nothing good come out of war and conflict. And from both sides, the West or the rest of the world and Iran, there must be a new beginning of a trust building. Now, I think it is a time, and that comes from a guy just been treated in such manner. It's a time for a dialogue, so we can sit down and talk. There is no any other way. I can't see any other way peace ever prevailed unless there's going to be a talk.